following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let me just say, after video distorting the belt, they're proclaiming the real world champion. I'm going to tell you all, with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life. When you walk around this world and you tell everybody you're number one, the only way you get to stay number one is to be number one.
Everybody, welcome here to a Wednesday, May the 24th, 2023. How's everybody doing on this middle of the week, hump day, whatever you want to call it? Yours truly, Captain Lou, welcoming you to the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We are live. You're on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. We invite you to check us out. Subscribe to our channel. That is the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. And you can check out all of our previous shows that we've had, all archived. And we've had a lot of great shows over the past couple of years on there, including the ACHA Power Play and, of course, the Captain Lou Extravaganza, as we are live here this morning, 3 days a week now throughout probably for the next month or so. And then we'll see how it goes with my physical rehab with my foot after surgery back in April. So, again, what a better way to be able to hang out with you and talk sports here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. We are brought to you, as always, by MahlerBros.com. Check out the website, MahlerBros.com, as it says on the bottom of the screen. Use the promo code BELLYUP, and you'll get 15% off of your purchase. If you want to look good on the golf course, if you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. That's no other better way to get yourself ready for that than MahlerBros.com, and use the promo code BELLYUP for 15% off of your purchase. Hey, be a part of the program. You can follow us on Twitter at @TheRealCaptainLou, or send us an email, sweetlou1965@yahoo.com. And also follow my Facebook pages, the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page, or my personal one at Lewis Gamlin. Now, a lot to talk about here this morning. The Stanley Cup Playoffs are starting to look like the NBA playoffs now, as both conference finals are now 3-0. Dallas last night falling to Vegas. Vegas overpowered them big time in that first period, just ran them over en route to a 4-0 win. They're up 3-0. Tonight, Florida will look to punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup final, as they are up 3-0 on Carolina, and they will play, as I mentioned, in Florida, Game 4. Sergei Bobrovsky, again, he has established himself as probably the hottest goaltender, although Aiden Hill would have something to say about that after last night. We'll talk about that. The NBA playoffs, Miami could not put away Boston. Boston was able to stave off elimination last night en route to a win over the Heat. It's now 3-1 there. They go back to Boston for Game 5 tomorrow night, and they're trying to hang on to find out who will go and play the Denver Nuggets, to dispatch the Lakers in 4 straight. 4 tightly contested games. The Lakers kind of running out of steam, especially in Game 4 with a big lead in the second half. LeBron couldn't quite carry him, which, in my opinion, he shouldn't have to. His support staff, if you want to call it that, or his support team, whatever, let him down, I think, in the second half again. And so now he's trying to tell people that he's going to retire, or he's thinking about it anyways. Okay. But the Lakers now, they're done. Denver, with by far the superior team, they advance to the NBA Finals. They will await the winner of this series in Eastern Conference Finals. Is there any chance this one goes past Game 5 tomorrow night in Boston? We'll have to wait and see on that. And then we'll talk a little bit about the NBA rule changes that, a couple of them that came down yesterday are a rule change, and also something else they're going to do with the scheduling and the hypocrisy of it all. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. So again, welcome to the show here tonight, or this morning rather. Glad you could be with us on this Wednesday. Again, we got a lot to talk about. We are powered up, by the way, by Belly Up Sports. Check out our website, bellyupsports.com. And we've got everything you need as far as what you're looking for. Coverage of all the sports, all the 4 major sports, and of course, soccer, pro wrestling, you name it, lacrosse, the PGA Championship, which just ended this past weekend with Brooks Koepka from the Live Tour coming out on top and getting his 5th major. We talk about that. NASCAR, you name it. That's bellyupsports.com. We're going to have our NBA Super Show next Wednesday night on the Belly Up Network on YouTube as well, as the NBA Finals will be set by then. They're not doing the opening game of the NBA Finals no matter what happens. Should Boston lose tomorrow, if Miami wins, they're still not going to start the finals until June 1st, which is a week from tomorrow. So we're going to have our show there as well on Wednesday. Or on next Wednesday at 7:00. And we invite you to be a part of that. So let's get right into it. As we talked about, the Stanley Cup Finals, or I should say the Stanley Cup Playoffs, are in full steam again with the conference finals. Game 3 last night in Dallas. And wow, Vegas up 2-0 with 2 impressive wins at home, both of them in overtime, as we mentioned, but wins nonetheless. They go into Dallas, and boy, did they ever overpower the Dallas Stars. 1 minute and 11 seconds in, Marcia Schultz with the goal to go up 1-0. And then Jamie Benn with a boneheaded move, to say the least. He got goaded into 10-minute game misconduct, I should say, with the cross-check to the throat of Mark Stone. And Vegas turned that 5-minute major into another a power play goal there. Then they added another one a couple minutes later. 3 goals in 7.5 minutes. And Ottinger got pulled. Dallas couldn't rebound from it. A couple of shots off the goalpost. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's 3-0. He gets pulled. Second period got a little ugly towards the end of the game as Max Domi got goaded into a couple of penalties. And it's amazing how Vegas, we talked about Chandler Stevenson in game 2, guilty of a little undisciplined and getting, a couple of unnecessary penalties. They were able to withstand that. And of course, with Alex Pietrangelo in the series against Edmonton, getting his, suspension with the slash and on Leon Draisaitl. So Jamie Benn will more than likely face a game 4 suspension. That penalty was obviously uncalled for. And, it's, the hit that he laid on Stone wasn't bad. But I don't know if he was frustrated or whatever. But that lapse of judgment, you just, it's amazing how we're seeing a lot of that this year. Cole Makar for Colorado in their opening series against Seattle. And these guys aren't dirty players. I don't consider Pietrangelo a dirty player. I don't consider Ben a dirty player. It's just one of those things. Keeping your cool and, just I don't know what to make of it, but it's a penalty nonetheless. I think Ben should be suspended for game 4. It was a bad hit. It was a dirty hit. He's not a dirty player, but it was just bad judgment. But, you got to pay the price for hits like that. So I think Ben's going to face a game 4 suspension. I'm sure we'll find out about that later on today, possibly tomorrow morning. But what does Dallas do now? They're down 3-0. And you just look at it now and you think 3-0 deficits. Both teams are facing it now in the conference finals. We saw it in the NBA finals. How, nobody has come back in the NBA when down 3-0. And I'm not sure if anybody is in the NHL, but the only team that I can remember that came back from a 3-0 deficit was the Boston Red Sox against the New York Yankees back in 2004. But, we talk about it with Florida on the brink of eliminating Carolina tonight. Bobrovsky at home. Florida just their mindset right now. They've got that edge, the mental edge. Carolina's a tough team. Rod Brindamore's been there as a head coach. He's won a Stanley Cup as a player. I'm not counting Carolina out, but we saw Toronto down to Florida 3-0. they were able to win game 4 in Florida, but then lost game 5. I'm not counting Carolina out tonight. I think that they can bounce back and probably win game 4, but it's going to take a Herculean effort. They got to obviously figure out a way to stop Bobrovsky. He's separating himself right now. It's funny is he and Aiden Hill did not even start the playoff runs as the starting goaltenders. And here we are. Now they're separating themselves. Hill looked amazing last night. Yeah, he got a couple of bounces with the goalpost and the crossbar, but who doesn't in the end? In any playoff run that you see, you're going to get bounces. You're going to get it takes a little bit of luck. I don't care, again, which playoff run you have, NBA, Major League Baseball, the NFL, you're going to get breaks along the way. I mean, you talk to anybody, even a professional poker player winning the World Series of Poker, you get a couple of lucky hands. It takes a little bit of luck, but good luck is a byproduct, in my opinion, of good habits and good players. And Aiden Hill and Bobrovsky are separating themselves. I look at the game the other night, 1-0 for a win for Florida. And now it's game 4 tonight, Carolina and Florida. Obviously, that's going to be the difference. But the big thing, again, we talk about discipline. Let's go back to that. I honestly think that, that's discipline. When I mean that with Florida having it and Vegas with the swagger, that confidence is huge. Now you're up 3-0. You can try to goad these teams into penalties. You can play a little more on the edge. Not dirty, but right on the edge. Good, solid hockey. An extra oomph on the hit, on the check, whatever. The forecheck being a little more physical. Florida's got it right now. They're in, Vegas, you can tell. They're in Dallas's head. It's a great place to be up 3-0. And they've got the swagger, you can tell. Not dirty, but they've got the swagger. They've got the confidence. It's a huge hole to climb out of. Any sport, like I said. Florida's got it right now. Vegas has got the swagger. Matthew Tkachuk, what can you say about him? And, he's the catalyst right there. And I don't know. I mean, Sebastian Aho, he's going to have to lead his troops for Carolina tonight. Anderson, he hasn't played bad in goal. That's the thing. He hasn't played that bad. But, with Bobrovsky in net right now playing huge, and again, the Florida crowd's going to be on, it's going to be amazing there as well. But again, we go back to the goaltending. Hill and Bobrovsky, they have to be solved. And that is so huge right now. Dallas, with Ottinger getting pulled, 7 minutes in game 3 last night for Dallas. Wow, what is his mindset going to be going in tomorrow night to game 4 against Vegas? That's going to be something to find out too. So then we go back to, again, wondering, with Dallas, can they rebound after getting overpowered? They were bullied. Max Domi, he fell for it. And again, Vegas didn't do anything dirty. And it mystifies me again. That was a clean hit that Ben laid on Stone, and I don't know why. Again, frustration, I get it. These guys are better than that. But, boy, it just takes a second. Momentary lapse of judgment, and, it's going to cost them. Now, again, I think Dallas is going to be without Ben. He's their captain. Are they going to step up? Are they going to use that as a rallying cry? That's going to remain to be seen. But I just look at the forecheck right now, and Dallas, especially on the back end, looking lazy. And you see that a lot we saw it a lot with Toronto. It was like they took the foot off the gas pedal momentarily, and you just can't do that in any game. You take the foot off the gas pedal for a few moments, and boy, did Vegas ever take advantage of that. And they came out on all cylinders. For a minute 11 into the game, you could just see the air lifted out of that stadium. And then when that penalty came, and then they got the power play goal, and then boom, a minute and a half later, it's 3-0. Yeah. Can Dallas rebound? Of course they can. Ottinger is there. He's a good goalie. I think he'll be in net in game 4. He's had a history of bouncing back after poor performances, but they just got to stay mentally sharp and stay out of the penalty box. As simple as it is. I think they can hang with Vegas 5-on-5. but they're going to have to stay. Don't take the dumb penalties. Finish your checks, but don't do the extracurriculars that could get you anywhere from a 2 to a 5 and a game misconduct. And Vegas is in their head right now. Again, they've got the swagger, and they're like Florida. They have it. But again, who would have thought our conference finals in the NBA and in the NHL, all 4 of them on the verge of sweeps. Now, we know Boston avoided the sweep as they won last night. We'll talk about that in a few moments. But I didn't see this coming. I thought, to be honest with you, I thought all 4 series were going to go 6 and 7 games. It still might happen with Boston and the Miami Heat. And who knows? These could be turned around. They're not over yet, but we could be looking at all 4 conference finals settled within a week and having to wait now for the Stanley Cup final and the NBA finals. Each of the 2 teams that won it will get, they'll get some time to rest and heal up. But it's not over yet. But boy, oh boy, in the NBA or in the NHL finals right now, with the goaltending playing the way it is, Florida with a chance to clinch on their home ice, and Vegas, to me, with the upper hand mentally. And they're just, it seems like they're getting better every game. And that's a tough thing to overcome for Dallas. And so we'll have to wait and see on that. So, yeah, game 4 coming up tonight, Florida and Carolina. We'll see if they can close it out against the Hurricanes. We're going to talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs, but first we want to talk about MahlerBros.com. I don't know if you're like me, you get out on the golf course and, it's getting hot, and we've had a few warm temperatures here in Michigan. Next weekend, it's going to get back in the 80s. You're out on the course, you're struggling, you're sweating, and it gets to you. You're on about the 12th hole, and you just, take a double bogey, and you're not the happiest out there. And again, you're overheated. You want to take that shirt off. You can't, right? Obviously you can't do it. But if you went with MahlerBros.com with their attire, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Check out MahlerBros.com. They've got a wide assortment of polos that, I'll tell you what, they look great. You could have that loud design if you want to be seen 3 or 4 holes away. If you're walking down 12 and somebody on 16 says, hey, look, there's Captain Lou with that loud shirt. Or, I'm more of a conservative kind of person when it comes to my clothing. A lot of you that know me know that. So they've got that as well. Just kind of maybe the solid colors, but they're sleek, they're form-fitting, they're great. They're comfortable. They're lightweight. Don't take my advice. Check out MahlerBros.com for more on that. They've got T-shirts, tumblers, mugs, you name it. When you go on the website, make sure that you use the promo code BELLYUP. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. And you'll get 15% off of your purchase. So visit MahlerBros.com, MahlerBros.com. Make sure you use the promo code BELLYUP for 15% off of your purchase. It's that simple. That's MahlerBros.com. Use the promo code BELLYUP, and you'll look good. And when you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good, and it'll show on your score. That's MahlerBros.com. Well, again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. Powered up by Belly Up Sports. Check out our website, bellyupsports.com. A complete list of our podcasts that we have. All of our great guests, all of our great hosts that have just a wide assortment. Talking college hoops in the summer, talking NBA, talking baseball, you name it. The NFL, it's never too early to talk about the NFL. We'll touch on that a little bit later on in the show. But check it out. That's bellyupsports.com. Very blessed to be a part of the network. And, of course, check out our website for all our latest articles on everything going on in the world of sports. NBA playoffs, as we mentioned. Game 4 last night in Miami. Boston coming off that rather embarrassing effort in Game 3, to say the least, against Miami. Getting called out by everybody from Magic Johnson to their own fans to, the prognosticators, yours truly. I thought they gave up, not even, Tatum and Brown not even playing in the fourth quarter. It just waving the white flag. It was an embarrassment. And as I mentioned on Monday's show, teams, you can say what you want about the teams back in the day in the 80s and 90s. They didn't give up. They might have been down big, but they sure tried to give an effort out. And that was embarrassing. That was despicable back on Monday, what they did. Well, they had a players-only meeting on Monday, did Boston, and they talked amongst each other. And they came out last night. Didn't look good in the first half. Miami they had the lead at halftime, and I'm thinking, well, this is over. It's going to be another sweep. We're going to have to wait 9 days for a game in the NBA for the finals. Well, Boston was able to stave off elimination. Tatum stepped up in game 4 in the second half. Now the big question is, can they stave off elimination again? I'll tell you, I was impressed with Boston's effort in the second half. I really was. Tatum came up big. Jaylen Brown again big. Horford dug down deep. Now they go back to Boston for game 5. And if they can dig into that history, if they can keep that effort up. Now, one of the things that, a stat to look at for Boston, Jason Tatum, 30 points he averages in elimination games. Well, he's going to need it now for 3 more elimination games. Boston, as I mentioned at the top, the Boston sports town's not a stranger to somebody coming back from a 3-0 deficit, as the Red Sox did it to the hated Yankees back in 2004. But, sorry about that. Let's see what we can do here in game 4 or game 5 coming up on Thursday. Can Boston, can they make it a series? Can they carry that momentum? We asked that with the Toronto Maple Leafs after they won game 4 down in Florida. Can they do it in game 5? Well, they couldn't. But I don't know. A little bit of confidence is huge. Boston's problem, we saw it against, at times is they take quarters off, and you just can't do that. So it's going to be a fun game to watch Thursday night in game 5. Boston staves off elimination. They're still in it. I still think deep down they've got a little more talented of a roster, but they were outcoached in the first 3 games, definitely. And Miami knows what it takes to get to game 4, to get to the finals. Boston does too. That's not really an edge. Let's see if Boston can do it 4 games in a row. That's going to be the big thing. They've dug themselves such a deep hole. We talked about it with the NHL in that first segment. How, it is so difficult mentally to get yourself up for 4 straight games. I don't know if they can maintain it. But here's the thing. Boston wins game 5 tomorrow night. Then the pressure really starts to turn towards Miami. The moment, all of a sudden the heat, no pun intended, is on the Miami Heat. Can they handle the pressure? Can Tatum, Jimmy Buckets help them maintain it? So we'll have to wait and see, but got to give credit where credit is due. Boston staved off elimination. Jason Tatum stepped up big time. Can they continue in game 5? That's what we're going to have to wait to see here coming up tomorrow night. Denver, Monday night, they took it to the Lakers. Well, I don't know if they took it to them, but they were able to come back. They won game 4. They had the run again. LA just kind of ran out of gas in the second half. LeBron James did, everything he could. 31 points in the first half. He helped stake them out to a big lead. And it was like, all right, guys, help me maintain it. The Lakers couldn't do it. Listening to Nikola Jokic after the game, he said, he rightfully so gave all the credit to LeBron in the first half, but he also brought up a point. He said, look, he was the only one that really was doing it for them in the first half. They survived the storm. They were able to put a little more pressure on them. And, the other guys couldn't step up in the fourth quarter. Now, Anthony Davis, if you look at his numbers, he had a better run, but he's proven he's not the answer as the number 2 person. LeBron should not, how can I say this the right way? They shouldn't have to rely on LeBron to be the number 1 guy. Anthony Davis has proven that he's not the number 1 guy. He's proven that for the last couple of years. They needed him to step up in the crunch, at crunch time. He couldn't do it. So, I mean, I don't see it. I don't see him as the answer in LA. Would I trade him? Yeah, I would. But now everybody's saying, they're going to try to go after Kyrie Irving. Why? They bring Kyrie Irving into this mess, they're going to get the same result. Here's and I'll tell you why. I was listening to Nick Wright last night on Fox, and he brought up a great point. Where did LA lose that series against Denver? They didn't lose it in game 1, game 2, game 3. They lost it in November. They lost it in December. They started out 2-10. They had to dig themselves out of a hole. And from the playoff deadline all the way until game 4 the other night, they were in playoff mode. And they, it was their backs were against the wall for 3 months. Denver didn't have that. They established themselves as the number 1 team. They are the number 1 team. They're the more talented team. But if LA wouldn't have been in that situation, let's say they would have been, I don't know, the 2nd or 3rd seed or whatever, and not had to play in the play-in game, it took its toll mentally. And when it takes your toll mentally, then it starts to take your toll physically. And you could see it with LA. LeBron could only do so much. Yeah, I know they got Austin Reeves. He had a great run, but now he's going to want $100 million. Is he worth that? Seriously? Is this going to be a one-shot wonder for this year? I don't know. Now we've got the NBA playoffs coming up. The NBA finals coming up. LA's not there. And I think that's where it took its toll. I guess my point is with Kyrie, they go after him. How many games is he going to take off during the regular season? Anthony Davis, what is he going to be good for? 50? And LeBron, he's going to be 39. You can't keep counting on LeBron to carry this team. He's a great player. Take nothing away from him. He proved he still got it. But, he was the more consistent one in that whole playoff run. And I just, I just don't see where having Kyrie Irving is going to be the answer. I don't know what LA does. And one more thing on the series, well, a couple more maybe real quick. Don't take the bait on LeBron retiring. This is the thing that always bothers me about people in the media, in this profession. You're going to put a microphone in LeBron's head or in his face right after they get swept or right after they lose. Anybody, not just LeBron. These guys are just mentally exhausted after getting beat. They're defeated. He's probably sitting there going, yeah, wow, I don't know. I just, and I watched the pundits yesterday. It just, I couldn't take it anymore. For 2 hours, they lamented. They were eulogizing LeBron, thinking he's going to retire. He's not going to retire. The one thing that LeBron does, he's passive aggressive and he'll manipulate you. But that being said, what do you expect somebody to say right after they lose? I guarantee you he's not going to retire. I don't buy it for one bit, not this year. I'll buy it when he's on that podium in front of everybody with all the lights, with all the glitz, with all the glamour, saying, yes, I'm retired. It's not going to happen. Give him a month off. Give him 6 weeks off, whatever. He starts training in July or the 1st of August. He's healthy. He's rested. His son, he's always said he wants to play with his son, with Bronny. And he is such a competitor. I know he doesn't want to go out being swept. He's going to have a say on what's going to happen with the Lakers if he stays there. He's got a lot of money on the table. I know he doesn't need the money, but it's there. He is not going to retire. No way. I just don't see it. He is probably better than 90% of the people in the league still, but he's going to need that help. And I know that he's got some unfinished business. And I think that, and the other thing is he wants to set the record for total minutes played by anybody. That's probably the one record left. And he's thinking about that. And that's held by Kareem. I just don't see LeBron retiring. And, the other thing with the series with Denver and Los Angeles, Jokic again, he asserted himself. Now, I thought that Anthony Davis played okay on the defensive side, but he didn't give that effort all the time. But Jokic proved that he's the best player right now in the world. And he's averaging a triple-double in the playoffs. He gets the respect now that he deserves. Whoever doesn't think he's MVP-type quality, I don't know. And he showed it in the series. And I guess he didn't have the best statistical game maybe in game 3, but he's still averaging a triple-double. But he drew so much attention to him that Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and KCP, They took off. And it shows to me right now that Denver, not only is Jokic the best player in the world, that duo with him and Jamal Murray right now, they are the best duo in the NBA by far. They're better than Tatum and Brown. They're better than AD and LeBron, and they're better than Jimmy Buckets and Bam Adebayo. I don't care, So, so it's going to be fun to see what happens in the NBA Finals starting next Thursday, a week from tomorrow. It's going to be in Denver, and that for game one. And Denver will be a decided favorite, I think, whoever they play, and I think they're going to win the series. First look, I don't care if it's Miami or Boston. And I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a 5-game series. Again, thanks everybody for joining us here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. We are powered up by Belly Up Sports, and again, sponsored today, as always, by MahlerBros.com. Use the promo code BELLYUP for 15% off of your purchase. Check out their website for all the greatest looking polos. If you want to look good on the golf course, you know what I always say, you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. That's the only way you're going to do that, by checking out MahlerBros.com. Again, use the promo code BELLYUP for 15% off your purchase. It's that simple. Want to end the show today by talking a little NFL. It's like we said, never too early to talk about the NFL, right? They instituted a tweak to the kickoffs. They're going to now do a fair catch. You're going to be able to do a fair catch, get a fair catch. They want to eliminate the injuries. That's their reasoning. And to me, it's another example of the excitement going away in the NBA, in the NFL game. Some of the reasoning is the injuries are going up big time, according to them, 60% over the last 5 years. And they say a lot of it's due to the kickoffs, the concussions, whatever. And I saw a stat where the average kickoff goes to the 25.1 yard line. So what they're going to do it like college football now, where to eliminate the pop-up kickoffs and again eliminate the injuries. So if you get the fair catch, you're going to start at the 25 yard line. Is it good or bad? I don't like it. It may save a few injuries, but kickoff returns are exciting. You get rewarded for it. A lot of work's put into it. I could see the possibility in 10 years they eliminate the kickoff anyways, which I think is a bad idea. But, again, I'm old school. Stop the kickoff, block the right way, whatever. I think doing that is just, I don't like it. I'll learn to live with it, just like all the rules here. And then they're going to start flexing Thursday night games this fall. You have to have, I think, 28 days notice, if I'm not mistaken. So week 13 through the 17, if there's an Amazon Prime Thursday night game that looks like it's going to be a dud, a month away, you have the opportunity to flex out of it. And, it just, I look at it and it just, again, raises the hypocrisy of the NFL. And I'll tell you why. The NFL is all about player safety, right? That's why they're doing the kickoff rule now. But yet they're turning around and they're going to force more Thursday night games or teams to be prepared, change their game plan or whatever for Thursday night games. Thursday night games do not promote player safety. You're playing a Sunday game. Let's say you're playing a 4:00 game and all of a sudden you got to turn around and play on Thursday night. How does that promote player safety? To me, that's as hypocritical as hell. And the NFL turns around and say they're all for player safety. And I don't buy it. On one hand, they want to do it for the kickoff rule. I understand that. But then they turn around and do these Thursday night flexing. Teams could play twice on Thursday nights this year. The Lions are playing twice on Thursday. Now you're going to flex it. Never mind the fans. The hypocrisy of the NFL, again, shines with them too. And it's funny is I saw a stat or I read something this morning. 7% of NFL fans, only 7% of the NFL fans actually go to a game. And that's, so that tells you right now, the TV experience is more what the NFL is branding towards. They don't care about the fans. We've talked about it on this show many times when it comes to the fans. Number one, if you want season tickets, you got to pay the licensing fee for the seats. I don't know what it is. We'll just throw $1,000 a seat. I might be over, I might be under. $1,000 for a seat. Then you got to buy 8 games or 9, and then these preseason games, which you have to pay full price for, 1 or maybe 2, or 1 anyways. Let's just say that at, again, I'll say $100 a pop, $125 a pop. So you're looking at $3,000 to $4,000 for seats. Okay. Let's say you don't do that. Let's say you're like me. I don't have season tickets, or, the average guy with a family of 4, you're going to pay $500. Or if you're going to travel, let's say that, I'll give an example of folks where I came from, up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, want to go down to watch the Lions, or Green Bay for that matter. Those are 2 big destinations up there. Great rivalry. You plan on a game. Let's say you're planning on the Lions taking on, I don't know, let's say they're taking on Minnesota. All right. And it's towards the end of the year. It's around Christmas time. Or we'll use a different example. I don't know. Let's use this for an example. They can flex out of a Monday night game. Let's say the Lions and the Raiders were flexed. I know they won't be because it's early, but we'll just say they are. You take a couple days off of work, right? You fly there, whatever. The fans from Oakland or Vegas fly to Detroit for the game. They get their plane tickets months in advance. Let's say they got them in May when they found out the schedule. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a week before, and it's going to be flexed out. They're going to put it on Sunday. Let's say you fly in Sunday night or Monday. You're screwed. How does that benefit the fans? It doesn't. So it's all about the money. We all know that. It's all about, the television revenue, and it's all about the hypocrisy of the NFL treating the fans. No, I'm a hypocrite too because I'll be there watching it. But, it's just, this is another level on the NFL's end for the hypocrisy, and it drives me crazy. So I don't know. That's just my little rant on the NFL. I love it. And again, I'm just as hypocritical as the NFL because I'll be there watching. I complain about it, but I'll be right there watching it towards, come August and September, rooting on my Lions to possibly do as good as what everybody thinks they're gonna. So yeah, it's just, it creates hypocrites in us all. The NFL sure does. Well, hey, that's going to do it here tonight, or for this morning, for the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We appreciate everybody taking time out today to be with us. Enjoy the Stanley Cup Finals tonight, or Stanley Cup Playoffs. Florida and Carolina. Can Carolina stave off elimination? Can they force a Game 5 back in Carolina this weekend? We'll have to wait and see. Florida, they got an opportunity to clinch their first Stanley Cup final since 2006. So it's going to be who play. Obviously, it's going to come down to goaltending and staying out of the penalty box. Then, of course, tomorrow night, Game 5, Vegas at Dallas. Vegas up 3-0. They've got the foot on the throat right now. Will they be able to stave off elimination, or will they be able to eliminate Dallas and set up a return trip for them to the Stanley Cup final like they did in their original year? And in the NBA, of course, Boston with Game 5 tomorrow night against Miami. They're now down 3-1, backs against the wall. Can they maintain that? Can they keep that up? Or will we have a Denver and Miami final starting next Thursday, June the 1st? We'll talk about all that on Friday, so make sure you stick around 10 o'clock Friday morning. It'll be a free-for-all Friday. We'll have a lot to talk about. We invite you to be a part of the program again. Follow us again. We are sponsored by Mahler Bros Golf. Check out the website, and again, use the promo code BELLYUP for 15% off of your purchase. And again, you can follow us, the Captain Lou Extravaganza, on Facebook, or follow me on Twitter at The Real Captain Lou. And as always, drop us an email, sweetlou1965@yahoo.com. All right, that's going to do it, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the show. We'll be here Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, for another edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel there. Just a reminder, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Have a good day, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine. Make that day special. Make it count. We'll talk to you Friday here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza. So long.